something else. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm trying.
Okay, we'll cut to the others while this is happening. Tigadeara. Swirling above you are a quartet of flying creatures. At first, they look vaguely like Morty, like maybe a dragon of some sort. But the closer they get, the more you realize that's an incorrect interpretation. While they have bat-like wings, much like a dragon, their bodies are somewhere between a horse and a kangaroo. Very horse-like head and forearms, kangaroo-ish legs, long whip-like tail. Like, I guess the closest thing you could say is they look like some sort of devil. And they're whinnying.
Fuck.
They're whinnying in a terrifying way.
Do they have an accent?
Yes, actually. They have an accent. Who's a famous person from New Jersey whose accent you like to name Fantasy New Jersey after? Well, we were just talking about Michael Jones, so they sound like they're from the town of Jones. And they're heading towards you two, winning in a menacing fashion.
All right. Twitchy Goblin throws a stink bomb at the group.
Well, if the area is land, if the area on the floor around is clear now, I'm gonna kind of land, make sure I slide a Tig down and onto the ground and just kind of roar as loud as I possibly can. And for that, I'm gonna roll intimidate. Shit. I just I rolled a 20.
Oh.
Intimidate. And I have a plus 17 bonus.
Okay. So you land a Tig and you roar in your most menacing fashion. And the Jersey Devils stop in their tracks and fucking scatter. The Deinonychuses, who have been waiting at the sides of the tall grass, also just fucking scatter into the woods. You are now alone in a meadow.
I'm just going to take the time to bell out. Fuck you, Tiefling! I can do it too! Nice.
Meanwhile, Airy,
That's
Howard,
something-
and Buddy. Buddy is now petting the baby T-Rex, and it's cooing contentedly. At one point, he rubs its belly, and it goes completely limp, and has sort of a very calm, tired expression on its face. Because little known fact, with a lot of lizards and particularly alligators, if you rub their stomach, it sort of triggers a response to make them just sort of like calm down.
Ari makes a mental note.
You're just doing it's basically nerd out about reptiles, aren't you?
This is.
I'm gonna be bringing a lot of reptile nerdery to today's session.
I do not mind this at all.
Yeah.
Ari,
Sounds good to me.
you hear that shaking, don't you?
I hear it. I feel
Something's
it too.
coming.
If I could take a
Yeah.
guess, it was probably this guy's parents.
Parents?
Here,
So this thing's even bigger than this thing?
It's like 4 feet tall.
It looks like a baby to me.
Yeah, but
Hear a low, rumbling growl, now quite a bit closer than the stomping sounds.
Oh, you're so... Mommy's very angry.
I'm not even gonna have you make a perception check. Something is coming that's very big, and it's getting very close. You have very little time to figure out what you're going to do before it arrives.
I think it's best we just run.
Predators. Probably shouldn't do that. Should probably try to sneak away.
Stand your ground and shout, "Oh my god, it's coming right for us!"
Let's say Howard Running's going to sound like a metal shop threw up. Clang, 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 clang.
Yeah, they'd
We use
probably
him as a
find us.
diversion.
Any clang is an intimidate check in of itself.
Wait, there's all these dead bodies around here. We'll hide behind one of them.
Hey, give it a fucking chance. Do a stealth check.
Oh my god.
Stealth check to hiding behind the bodies, I suppose.
Howard, bluff. Make it think you're a shiny rock.
So
Yes.
Make it think you're.
I will pretend to be a rock.
Oh dear God, this is gonna be amazing.
Rolled a 5, but
He just slams into the ground and it's a very shiny rock now.
No,
Fucking A. Okay.
No. He makes a Transformers noise as he does it.
Okay.
Like all of his arms like retracting into his body.
Okay.
Just like a chest, just a chest piece.
Yeah, Howard huddles down and looks like a very shiny rock. Ari successfully drapes himself in rotting meat to hide. Buddy then sits down next to Ari with the baby T-Rex in his arms, and he's petting it, and he's not doing this to hide whatsoever.
Buddy,
Hmm?
his mama's coming and it's dinner time. You're gonna have to let him go.
Mm. He opens his arms and puts the baby T-Rex down, and then the baby T-Rex looks at him and then like crawls back onto his lap.
Oh,
Oh shit.
At which point you hear like the ground shake and trees sort of like groaning as something is pushing its way past them, and two massive fucking reptilian monsters emerge into the clearing. Each stands about 40 feet high on its kangaroo-style posture. They look very much like the cute little creature Buddy has taken a shining to, except much bigger and much more gnarly. One opens its jaws. And can either of you speak Draconic?
No.
Excellent. Howard, you can't speak Draconic either?
nope.
If it swears, you're definitely.
You
If it
hear
swears,
it
it's definitely
release a complicated system of hisses, gurgles, and grunts. The second monster is by its side next, and is pointing its head in a different direction, and is also releasing a complicated system of hisses, gurgles, and grunts. Eventually, the baby in Buddy's lap perks its head up, and then it looks at Buddy and nuzzles him a little bit before jumping out of his lap and skittering off to its parents. They turn their heads down to the baby. The baby is also releasing a complicated system of gurgles, grunts, and hisses. And it's jumping a little bit excitedly. And the parents look at it quizzically, or at least as quizzically as a giant, scaly reptilian monster can look. Which, having owned lizards, they can give you a pretty good quizzical look. And eventually the baby jumps a little bit more and then turns back towards Buddy and darts off towards him, and the parents slowly follow. And the baby hops right next to Buddy and is very excited about the new friend he's made. And the parents look at this weird little murder child, like child man, and they're clearly not sure what to do. And then the mama T-Rex bends down, nips Buddy at the back of his chest plate, lifts him up into the air, and Buddy just kind of sits there taking it. And then she carries him to the center of the nest and plops him down. And she scoops up some pieces of raw, rotting flesh in her mouth and deposits them down through the tube. And the baby
Oh my
begins
God.
to eat. And we cut to Talia and Lelia. Talia, have you thought of that name yet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I posted them.
Yeah, she did.
Okay. Lelia, that's a beautiful name. I think
I
we-
have, I have to punch Ayara all of a sudden.
Wait, what? I can't.
Talia, you broke up a little on my end.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I mean, I always call her Mom, but I hear people call her Melia sometimes.
I
I
like
get
it.
it.
It
Why
fits
do I
the
have-
personality.
I think it's what I said. I said, why do I suddenly want to punch Ayara all of a sudden?
Yeah, that was what I was giggling.
Why?
Because you said fuck you, tiefling.
Oh.
So Layla can't explain why, but she knows it's out there somewhere she's been insulted.
And finally,
Oh God,
dropping
they're
down.
more likely. They're more likely than we thought.
And finally, dropping down from the jungle branches amidst all the vines is the head of a very, very large constricting serpent. And it's dropping down right between Lelia and Talia. So many Alias. And it quizzically turns its head and it's like, well, any friend of Melia is a friend of mine, and any child of Melia has earned my aid. You are obviously strangers here. Tell me your story of how you've come and what you're searching for, and I will do my best to help you.
Well, long story short, we lost our animals during a trip to a village called Hogs. We heard that a tribe of lizard folk had.
Wait, can I interrupt you a second?
Okay.
Now, it's called Hogs. Was it filled with pigs?
A few. Not as many as you'd think, but a
Damn it!
handful.
For a minute, that sounded like paradise. All the pigs you can eat.
This, considering what happened to it, I imagine there's going to be a whole roving band of pigs now.
Plenty of chickens, though. Lots of chickens.
Well, that's good.
But we heard from a semi-reliable source that some lizard folk had taken our animals, and well, when we followed the trail, well, the ground gave way and we all ended up here. There were 5 more of us. I have no idea where they went.
So you're looking for lizard folk and also your other friends.
And our animals.
And
which
your
falls
animals.
under the purview, which falls under the purview of friends, but of a different group.
But they're probably with the lizard folk and everything goes according to logic. Yes?
Reason would suggest.
Alright. Well, I do know where a lizard folk colony is in here. It was established just a couple of years ago. I will warn you, though, I don't think they're very friendly towards mammals.
Not a problem for me.
I know that Melia adopted you, but you do realize you're not a snake, right?
I can be a snake if I want to.
If the snake had prominent eyebrows, they would be arched to know what the fuck.
And then I turn into a smaller version of the species of tree viper that Mom is.
Okay, well, I forget that magic's a thing. I will bring you to them, but if they're more hostile than you're expecting, I can't intervene. I would like to live.
Okay, Lelia, we're gonna need to hide you somehow.
Or we can get our whole party together. Find our friends first, then find our animals. We don't know what's in this place.
That might be a good idea too.
Well, I don't know where your friends would be, but once you find them, you can find me again, and I'll lead you to the lizard men. Lizard folk, sorry.
That is probably the wisest of ideas.
Well, let me at the very least help you with those vines, and the snake does help you like get out of the vines and all that. Be on your way. I'll be here.
I help Lelia down.
And now you two are off to find your friends in a very large, elaborate jungle. Okay. Take an Ayara. You're in a meadow.
Should we make? I'm just gonna make a perception check to kind of look around.
I'm just gonna cling to the back of the dragon.
Okay, so 23 in total.
All right. Ayara, on most sides of the meadow, it is surrounded by forest. However, in one direction, there seems to be a river of some sort with a beach and a bank. Generally, following the river is a good idea in places, although you're underground, so it's probably not the same river as the one that you got here by. But who knows? Maybe you'll be surprised.
Anything else?
There's a lot of trees. And some dung left by the Jersey Devils.
Any besides the river, any other landmarks?
There's a rock.
Is it a big rock?
It's a big rock. It's a fairly big rock.
Is it? Does it have? Is it a pride rock?
No, it's more of a 10-foot tall rock. You could climb it, and like if you had a bunch of little schoolyard friends, you could play like King of the Rock, and you could push each other down, and it'd be really fun until Jeffy like just bashes his head open during one fall, and then you have to stop, and he goes to the hospital, and you all feel a little bit guilty, but you don't know why.
You got any ideas on where we should go for where we should head, Tag?
Tig shakes his head.
Dig hasn't been talking lately, has he?
If you keep track, he hasn't said a single word since we confirmed
Yeah,
Meg
I
vanished.
noticed that.
He's upset.
Well, so if lizard folk probably gonna be where Meg is. So yeah, following the river.
He shrugs
All right,
at that.
nice. You head to the river. When you get to the river, there's a juvenile water worm. So it's about 10 feet long, basking itself. It cranes its serpentine neck to look at you, and then continues to bask itself on the riverbank.
Do water speak Draconic? Can I roll a nature check and see if I can remember that? And see remember whether or not they do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh shit! I just rolled an 18.
Nice.
23.
And I'm going to check to make sure I've got my facts straight here.
Good today.
Let's see.
Yeah, water worms do not. In fact, they are not intelligent enough to speak. Sometimes they can be trained to follow commands, but so can a dog.
Commands. All right. Then I'm gonna kind of hiss at it in Draconic. Like, hey boy, where's home?
The water worm doesn't pay attention, but you do hear the sound of water breaking, and something behind you replies in a very deep, loud, draconic voice. What you say? And when you turn around, there is a creature that looks like a bipedal crocodile with a large sail on its back.
Oh shit!
That's about 50 feet tall. So, cut to our friends watching the T-Rex feed Buddy raw meat.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Buddy being lifted needs to be drawn, by the way.
Okay.
And while Buddy and the baby T-Rex eat their horrifying banquet of raw flesh, the parent T-Rexes are sitting on the ground, and they continue to just keep chattering to each other in that strange, hissing, gurgling tongue. And it's very clearly a sort of language at this point, because they're having what, even though you can't identify words or structure to their language, the way that they're talking is very clearly a conversation.
Ari, I think they're speaking.
Maybe we can ask them some questions, but it'd be kind of hard because we don't know how to speak whatever they're speaking, unless you understand it.
Yeah, the best I could do is make the same sounds, and I don't think that would work very well.
Well, we never know with you, but I think I have an idea. Okay, I'm going to do that diplomacy check and emerge from the pile of detriments that I have apparently hidden myself in.
Okay.
Submerge myself in.
You emerge from the raw meat, and the T-Rexes immediately stand the fuck up and look at you, and they are both, like... They have a surprised expression on their face, like many people do when you emerge out of the shadows. Combined with an outraged look, like many people do when you emerge out of the shadows. Except this time it's actually scary because it's coming from a creature that's big enough to just demolish a house with a kick.
It's bad.
And it's also a very familiar, like, parental outrage at this point. Like, they have expressions that are like, "What the fuck? This thing's near our baby!" Expression.
I just kind of hold up my hand, you know, in the universal sign of, hold on a second.
Howard does the same, showing nothing in his hands.
They see Howard pop up, which they thought was a rock, and they're double fucking terrified.
Okay.
And they look to each other, and they gurgle and growl, and there's like a very clear agitation in the sound. And the bigger of the two steps forward very cautiously, while the other one backs away and is clearly just setting itself up as a barrier between you, the baby, and Buddy.
Okay,
What are you gonna do? Do like a stick drawing of dirt in the dirt?
If you'd let me do it.
Yeah, but the big T-Rex leans its head down to you, and you can just smell the rotten flesh in its lips, and it growls. Again, in that complicated language that it's using, which you can't understand, but you get the gist. This is something that's kind of a universal message of tone, where it's like, what the fuck are you doing here?
I just kind of hold up a finger, and I say, hold on a second.
It looks at the finger, then at you.
And I very cautiously reach down and start drawing in the dirt.
It watches. The other T-Rex that's guarding the kids also perks its head up, trying to see what you're drawing, but it's still doing its good parent job of keeping the kids safe.
I draw a very basic outline of their little T-Rex family, and then I draw a very basic outline of me and Buddy in the same sort of parental group. And then I gesture to it.
Leave me out, Ari.
And I hastily sketch a clunky knight next to it. And I point from one to the other, showing that it's the same.
You can follow the T-Rex's eyes as it looks from your stick figure drawing to you two, to the drawing of its family, and then back to its spouse and child. And despite the fact that it's got this strange reptilian head, you can see that it's kind of working shit out.
Okay, and then I add another little sketch right above my little portrait of our family, and I draw the rest of the group, and I show them that we've been separated by drawing a line between us, and like a pair of eyes looking.
the T-Rex scratches the underside of its neck as it's sort of like puzzling out your dictionary. And it takes it a while, but eventually it nods its head, and it hisses something to its spouse, and the spouse, it gives him or her, we don't know their genders. It gives the big T-Rex sort of a glance, as if it's not sure to buy what the big T-Rex is saying. But then finally acquiesces and stands up and leaves the kids behind and looks at the illustrations.
And then I finally draw, like what I think a lizard man looks like, because I've only seen them in armor. And then indicating that we're looking for both them and the rest of the group.
The T-Rex see that, and then they nod. They recognize the figure that you're drawing, the armored lizard folk. And they grunt to each other a couple of times. The one T-Rex, the one that was guarding the kids, turns back, picks up Buddy again by the scruff of his armor, and places him down next to you. Then it curls up next to the baby T-Rex, while the big T-Rex barks something at you, and then with its arms does sort of a follow me motion, like where you wave your hand in a direction,
Okay.
and begins to stomp off into the woods.
Huh, they're helping us. What a surprise.
I'm kind of glad that worked.
Great Pictionary skills.
Glad
Okay,
I learned how to draw.
These are very wise lizard kings.
They
Lizard.
look kind of like whatever the heck it was that the crazy guy in Stoker stole me instead of mules, only really big.
Ah, yes, they do.
And they're smarter.
They might be related.
All right.
We should call them
So-
king mules.
No,
Talia-
Donkey Kings.
King asses.
They're
Donkey
lizard
King.
kings.
Donkey King.
Tyrannoiquus.
Talia and Lelia, you're in the jungle. You've said goodbye to your snake pal, and are now off to find your friends. How the fuck are you gonna go about that?
We should try to get airborne.
Oh my god. I just realized there's a stealth pun in there that I didn't even catch. Called it an ass king. Asking. Oh.
You fucking asshole.
I punned myself.
Congratulations, you punned yourself.
You're never safe from the punishment.
Anyways, we should try to get airborne, because knowing our Ifrit, she's probably, as a dragon, flying as well.
Good idea, but I want you to come with. I don't want to. I'm not going to leave you alone in this jungle.
I can fly too. As Lilia activates the celestial armor's wings.
I never get to see you use that.
I use it against Morty.
I was asleep, remember?
You're an Allosaurus. Al's in the air, so.
You're an Allosaurus.
A weird little gremlin-looking thing in the trees that you didn't know before says, "Well, to be fair, you don't use it very often. It's easy to forget that sort of thing."
That is fair.
I transform into a dire bat again and try to make my way up above the canopy.
All right. And it involves a lot more climbing than flying to get up through the canopy because it's very tight and there's not a lot of open spaces where you can flap and catch winds and all that. But eventually, you just scurry out to the top and it is open and free, and the sky is full of pterodactyls.
Sounds like paradise.
Okay, as a bit of an elephant in the room, how many of these things would I recognize? Because I've never been into the Lost Worlds before, But I've been into caves. I've seen skeletons. That's why
Like,
I have so many dinosaurs as my go-to.
my idea is that your mom took you on vacations to part of this ecosystem every now and then. So these creatures are familiar enough where you would recognize them, but not so familiar that you'd have like intimate knowledge of them. It's
Right.
like I would see like snakes a lot when I went on vacations with my parents, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I knew how to I knew the intimate facts of like garter snakes and all that. Although I did because I read about them, but still, I didn't know from experience.
But I've never gotten a close enough look at it to really be able to mimic it, so I stick with that.
Yeah, it'd sort of be like these creatures are like the kind of animals that you would like. It'd be like you recognize them the way that a kid might recognize the animal they saw in the zoo. That's probably a better way to describe than my first metaphor. So you're not like, what the fuck is this flying lizard beast? But at the same time, you're like, oh, I see one of those every day. I have a friend named Paul who's one of those.
Paul the Parasaur.
All right, Lelia, be on your guard. I'm not completely certain, but I'm pretty sure some of these things spit purple heat beams.
As if to prove this, one does. Blowing the head off of another pterosaur whose headless body falls like 100 feet like west of you in into the canopy.
Well, that was something.
See?
Now, do either of you speak Draconic?
Yes, I invested in my linguistic skill.
I don't, but I can do speak with animals.
That's fair. Some of their squawking is in Draconic, and while it's distant and shouted in an accent that's a little hard to parse, the flock of pterosaurs that's whirling in the sky seems to be in the middle of some sort of argument.
What's the argument about?
It seems one of them took another one's fish, and some of them are on the side of the one who claims to have owned the fish and think that the other one is a cheat, while the others are like, no, that fish was fair game, and they're all very, very much in a tizzy about it.
So these creatures also have bezlers. Interesting.
It was my fish. No, it was my fish. It was his fish. He got it by right. No, he called that fish. It was his.
And Lelia speaks up. Did any of you use dibs?
Well, you're not close enough yet. You have to fly next to them to try and work this out.
So should we? Natalia.
No.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Like I said, purple heat beams.
I'll trust your judgment on that one.
Now, I have a slight problem. I can't mix the air in this shape, so we're going to have to do this visually.
That is fair.
All right.
So
You're currently on top of the canopy, able to fly if you'd like. You see that for a very long, the jungle that you're in stretches for a very long in a lot of directions. At one point, there's a field that breaks it up and a river. Beyond that, there's some more woodsy type forests. In the other direction of what I just described, the jungle continues on, and eventually there's some scrubland. And beyond that, carved into the mountain's face, or into the rocky wall of the air area, is an utterly massive pyramid with a very worn, roughly, vaguely lizard-like head sculpted at the top.
hold on. I have an idea. So Larry's gonna fly up, and in Draconic, say these words. Loudly. In Draconic.
Brilliant.
And then the pterosaurs all look at you. And one looks particularly aghast. And they start screaming, "What the fuck is your problem with Ayara?" And the one that looks aghast, like tears are forming in her eyes.
Oh no, different Ayara.
She calls.
Oh. It's not you. I meant the other
other
Ayara.
pterosaurs go to comfort her while others are start squawking at you. They're like,
Not you, the other Ayara.
the pterosaurs are all pretty pissed. Cut to Ayara and Tig. You are currently confronted by a very large Spinosaurus.
Does Ayara hear that?
Well, we've got to catch up in the timeline first.
Ah.
Jesus.
Just to emphasize the size of this beast, it is about as big as at least 2 elephants.
Or one really, really big elephant.
Yeah, one elephant that's really let itself go might equal this thing in size.
I mean, it's kind of lower or my head, kind of like submissive, like a submissive gesture, and his interconic, was trying to check something, interconic.
Me Scorn want know what you check.
Wanted to see if the water orm was a friend of the lizard folk.
What water orb?
The thing behind me.
Oh, tasty lump snake.
Tasty lump snake.
What lizard folk?
Looks like you, but with no fin, short snout, walks kind of like the guy, kind of like him, kind of gesture to Tig.
How big?
About two of him.
Tasty small friends.
Tasty small friends.
Yes, tasty small friends use tasty lump snakes.
Do you know where they are?
Oh yes, tasty small friends near great big giant house.
Could you take me to them?
What in it for Scorn?
Is the water orm still there?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna use lightning breath on it.
All right, you murder the water orm.
Drag it over. You get a free meal.
Smoked tasty lump snake. And he quickly and mentally devours it. This new taste sensation, Scorn approves. Scorn take you to tasty small friends.
Nice.
Follow Scorn.
I do.
Swim upriver.
I can fly after him. Still carrying Tig.
Whoa! You can fly?
Wings aren't just for show.
Scorn thought you had weird deformity.
I'm gonna choose to ignore that.
He probably thought you were one of his kind, just with really weird lumpy fin.
And strange long neck. And then as you're traveling upriver, you see like a flock of very angry like pterodactyls. And hear someone shout, Ayara is a cunt. At which point, the angry pterodactyls seem to shift their focus and go and start flying towards like one other distant blip in the sky.
Is Scorn? Do I recognize the voice?
It's a little distant to tell. Scorn hears it though and is like, "Why they say that about Ayara? Ayara is a sweetheart." Ayara is godmother to my last clutch of babies.
I'm just gonna raise an eyebrow at this. Very high eyebrow.
With your dragon eyes, you do see that at the center of the pterosaur swarm is what looks to be Lelia, as well as another flying creature that could very well be Talia.
Hey, Scorn, could you wait here for a moment? I'm gonna go defend Ayara's honor.
Scorn will wait, unless Scorn gets distracted and chase something for eating.
Fair enough. I can Tig, you might want to hold on tight, because it might want to hold on tight. And to start or basically rocket or with a scream of absolute rage.
Question: does AR have ears or like fin ears in this form?
Sure.
I kind of like to mentally think he's like sitting on her shoulders and like has the ears like a fighter pilot.
With his goggles down.
Oh, of course.
I approve of this visual. Lelia and Talia, you are currently in a swarm of pterodactyls.
I'm gonna roll a diplomacy check.
Are flying towards you. They're very pissed, except for a couple who are comforting one that is just openly weeping.
I'm gonna roll a diplomacy check.
They're all currently, they're not attacking yet, they're just surrounding you and screeching obscenities in Draconic.
I got a natural one.
On what?
Diplomacy roll.
Alright, you try to say something to them in Draconic, but it's a curse word. And Lelia, you hear what she says, and it's too horrible to repeat. But the other pterosaurs are very offended. And one's like, I totally forgot whose fish that was because I'm so offended.
Good job. For once, AR is being the diplomatic one.
Casey and I just enjoying that low roll.
Meanwhile, Ari and Howard are having a pleasant stroll through the woods with their T-Rex escort. Back to the action. Lelia, what would you like to say? Lelia, you can say that out loud.
Not to any of you. I've never met you, so I have no mean to insult you. I meant my teammate who's also named Ayara.
And one pterosaur's like, you expect us to believe there's two Ayaras? At which point, screaming at you is some sort of dragon that's like, Lelia!
Oh, hey, it worked. There she is.
Can I tackle her, please?
Can I dodge?
Yeah, roll a tackle, roll a dodge.
Okay.
So what would I roll for that? Is that reflex?
I believe that oh fuck, you use your CMD, so that's your dodge roll. Or alternatively, you can make a reflex save, whichever you feel better about. Ayara, roll a CMD attack.
I just rolled to attack like normal.
So,
I think-
can I do something as we shoot by and hit?
Yeah, totally.
I would like to turn around and fire a rocket stink bomb above the pterosaurs, to like have the stink rain down on them. Like
Nice.
they're out of range of the explosion, damage, but there's a stink just rains down. Do I need to like make an attack roll for that or something?
I'm gonna say what you do. It explodes, and there's a horrible odor, and the pterodactyls are briefly stunned by it, and then one says, "My God, that weird pterodactyl! She smells beautiful."
Oh, oh
That
boy.
made it worse.
Okay. Isn't CMD like a consistent thing? It's not something you roll with.
I don't
CMD
like.
is 16 plus a roll, I think. I don't know.
Me neither.
CMD is 10 plus 8 base attack plus your base attack bonus plus strength plus dexterity.
Right.
There's
And
no-
Letty just
Oh,
rolled
oh,
an attack.
and
And
actually-
Letty just rolled an attack, so without doing any CMB bullshit. So I don't
Yeah,
think
so I-
Then roll a reflex save to avoid it, I guess.
Okay. So that's it's on. It's on the.
Holy shit! You guys tied. Then I'm gonna flip a coin. Who won? It's
Tails.
AR. Okay, so Tails is Lelia gets her favorable outcome. Actually, odds or evens would be better.
Evens.
Okay. All right. Ayara just barely manages to tackle Lelia. And you guys collide in the sky. At which point the pterodactyls are like, "Whoa! Settle things with words, not violence."
Worked.
And they're all chanting, "We use words! We use words!"
What about that one guy?
That was Rand Paul. He dick. Why am I insulting Rand Paul? Because his name came up first in my mind. Whole stream of consciousness. Like, fuck that guy. It wasn't his fish. It's right. It wasn't his fish. I forget whose fish it was. It was one of somebody's or possibly another person's. They're all just chattering about this fish. And proper displays of violence. And then one's like, "I think weird looking one who smells beautiful is the Ayara. This one was insulting." Ayara, he wasn't talking about you.
Oh my god, they think that Lily is a male. That's even more brilliant.
They do. They don't understand human genders. Or tiefling genders, for that matter. Okay, says Ayara the pterosaur.
This one.
Well, our business done here. Let's go. To find fish. Yes. And off they fly to find fish.